Well, let's look at the next chart here. We're going to go through so much information. You guys have to watch all the way to the end because there's so much mind-blowing info. Ross, you alluded to this chart. I see a lot of red on the screen, and I see a whole lot of YouTube gaming accelerating in terms of growth with hours watched. YouTube streamers, pay attention to this one because holy moly, that is an exponential growth curve there, amigo. Break this down for us.
Yeah, so what you're seeing here is total hours watched on YouTube gaming. The most impressive thing that I found from looking at YouTube gaming and AY, I do want to get your opinion on this because you kind of hinted at this a little bit on the Restream podcast you did last week, but YouTube's really making a big outreach for international gaming audiences.
They sure are.
There's a massive growth with significant upticks, especially in Spanish-speaking markets, Brazil, India, and of the top 100 streamers across Western streaming sites, 25% of the 48 international streamers are on YouTube gaming. So
that's right.
Moving into 2021, is the primarily focus shifting towards international and not necessarily towards the popular platforms in the Western part of the world, the United States, North America, and so on?
Yeah, I think this is a big trend that this report isn't necessarily covering, but we've done in other reports where, international streaming is a huge trend in the future. In domestic streaming, if you will, North America, Australia, UK, obviously Canada, United States, those types of streamers and that audience is not growing at an exponential rate, whereas international audiences are. As infrastructure gets put into place in these other countries, as we start to see the rise of mobile gaming on the whole and globally, we're going to see more and more international streamers, aka non-English streamers, become the top streamers in the entire world. We just saw a non-English streamer on Twitch, I believe it was, break over 2 million concurrent viewers last week. 2 million. Crazy. That's more than the top esports events. That's more than any individual streamer, English speaking, has ever achieved. And this was an international, this was a non-English streamer. So the rise of non-English streaming is going to drive, I think, the majority of the growth on all of these platforms. And if we go back to our corporate backgrounds, our corpo backgrounds, we know that this is the way that content scales up. We grew the #1 gaming video network of all time on YouTube, and when we got started, the first sector that we grew was the English-speaking audience, right? However, when we went from there, how did we grow after that? Once you get all the English channels and once you get all the English gaming content creators, how do you grow from there? It's international audiences. That's how you grow from there. And so I remember we grew by growing the Spanish market, the Russian market, even the French market, the German market, and really breaking outside of this English-speaking sector to grow in gaming. And it looks like the industry as a whole with live streaming is having to do the same thing that we did when we were growing the #1 gaming network on YouTube. You're seeing the same trend happen here again. I guess this is the benefit, Perrin. I remember you ran all those social media accounts for all of those international brands we were doing. This is the benefit of being in this industry for 10 years plus. You see the same patterns, right? International equals growth in the long term, right?
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, international has their own thriving communities that are even more kind of robust, that have better viewership than even the United States or some of the Western Hemisphere. I'm looking at like Spanish-speaking territories have a great live stream viewership, and YouTube has done a really good job this past year of capturing main live stream content creators, bringing them to the platform and fostering growth. We just talked about Twitch just doubled in its viewership in 1 year. YouTube gaming just did the same thing, although it's on a smaller scale. It's starting from a less number. Q4 2019, they're at 1 billion on what is this, hours watched, I hope. It looks like. And then at the end of this year, at the end of Q4 2020 is at 1.9 billion. So 1 billion to 1.9 to almost doubling in growth. So they're matching the growth rate that Twitch is getting. They're just starting in a lower area. So they've figured out how to have consistent growth. This is important because YouTube gaming, especially the live stream viewership, has been a very chaotic journey. We've done episodes about those charts in the past, and they are up, and then they are down, and then they are up, and then they are down, and it was all over the place. So they figured this out, and one of the key things they did this year was they picked up content creators like Dockery. They picked up Dr. Disrespect. That was huge for them. And they picked up more consistent live stream viewership from this. And I think they also fixed their algorithm up with this a little bit as well.
I think
So-
that's most of it. The algorithm's
Yeah.
probably all of it. As we
Well,
know,
yeah.
talent doesn't grow platforms. Platforms grow platforms. So yeah, this has been a huge boost. 90% viewership increase for YouTube gaming in 1 year. 90% in 1 year is amazing. That's similar to the type of growth you saw on Twitch. Not in raw numbers, just in percentage. So YouTube gaming and Twitch nearly both doubled in 1 year. That's pretty freaking phenomenal for this industry in terms of viewership.